Hey guys, welcome to week 2 of Jolly July with Fat Quarter Shop and the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. So this week I'm showing you how to make a cute little ornament with a piece of wood. So what we found is at Hobby Lobby they had some little wood that comes 2 pieces to a pack, and they're really thin and they're 4.5 inches square. So we just took that and painted it, and we used the brand new Farm Girl Chalky Chicks paint, and we used Picket Fence, I believe. And we just painted it. We used 2 coats, let it dry, so it's already dry. So that's step 1. Step 2 is we're going to go ahead and attach rickrack. I'm using a Cloud Small Vintage Trim by Lori Holt. We're gonna attach this to the back. So if you look, we kind of have it on the back like that. And the way that I did it was I measured 1 inch in and then 1.5 inches in. And this is really OCD, so you don't have to be as detailed as me. So now I have a mark 1 inch and 1.5 inches. So what I want to do is have this rickrack lay here in between these lines so I know it's even from side to side. And I tried a couple of glues earlier, and when we made our prototype earlier in the week, and we have got to use this glue because we tried a couple and they didn't all work. So we are using Gorilla Super Glue. So I'm just going to put the glue . And I kind of do this first so it had time to dry while we're doing the next part. It's going to take quite a while to dry, I would say 10 to 15 minutes. So we're just going to move this to the other side of the table and let it dry. So what I did on this piece is I've got Ada, and then I added a little fabric trim to the edge. So what I did is I like 2 squares to show. So I'm going to take the border and I'm going to draw 2 squares above. Actually, I need to do it on the back, not the front, because that's where I'm going to be stitching from. I'm using a friction pin because it will disappear with heat later, and I like to stitch directly on those lines. I know that it will come out straight if I do that. And this one is going to be a little bit wider than my other one, but that's okay. Now I will take a piece of fabric and I'm just going to cut 2 little rectangles off. This is just a scrap of fabric. And what I'm going to do is, it's going to look really odd. I'm going to put my fabric here on top, face down, just like that. Scoot it up above my line a little bit and pin in place twice. And then we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch directly on this line on the back. And then when we fold it over, we will have blue right there. So I'm using a foot that has a little opening so I can see, and I'm just going to stitch directly on that drawn line. And now you'll see that it's sewn directly to your Ada. So now you can see that when you flip your fabric up, it looks really nice. If you don't like it, re-sew it, but it looks super nice. What I'm going to do is exactly 1/4 inch away I'm going to trim. And there's a reason why I'm doing exactly 1/4 inch, and you will see that in a couple of minutes. Why? It's going to help you with your fold. And then I'm just going to press toward the blue, and this is more fabric than I need. but I just had a scrap piece. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing. Put this right side together. I'm going to go and pin, and I'm going to stitch this, and I'll be right back. So now I've got this sewn and it looks good, so I am going to trim that exactly 1/4 inch away also. And then I'm just going to trim a little bit off the edge, maybe an inch or two, just to get stuff out of the way. I'm going to press this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over. So first I'm going to cut some stitch witchery that we're going to be using. This is just really skinny stitch witchery. I'm going to trim it in half so that I have it real skinny. This is double-sided tape or double-sided fusible that's a little bit light, but it does get on your iron. Don't ask me how I know that. Because I get it on my iron all the time. So now what you're going to do is cut 1/2 inch away from where you cut here. So we've got 1/2 inch here from the edge and 1/2 inch here. And then what we're going to do is fold this over to the edge and iron. And try not to burn your finger, because I do that all the time. So we've got this. We're just pushing this down. This is just going to give it a fold. It doesn't even have to be this clean. I just do it because this is what I know how to do. And then we're going to fold this down. I mean, technically you could just fold this all the way over and just leave the fabric on the back, because nobody's going to see it. This is just kind of what I knew how to do. Now from here, I want to fold over one more time. And by doing that, it gives you that clean look and that clean line. So I'm going to put the stitch witchery tape. I know I'm going to get it all over the iron. I'm just telling you in advance because I already know what's going to happen. So you just put the little stitch witchery in there, and it's just going to hold this fabric down. You just fold it over. You want to make sure the top is really nice and straight so that on the front it looks really pretty. Oh my goodness, it worked. So there you go. That's how that looks, and that gives you that really nice accent at the bottom, but it's nice and clean, and I really like the clean lines of the wood. Okay, so we're going to do another one. Put the stitch witchery down and then just fold it over and just iron. And that's why I said to make it exactly 1/4 inch away from your sewn line, because then you get exactly 1/4 inch away when you fold this over if you cut 1/2 inch away. But like I said, if you cut 1/4 inch away and you don't want to have this on the back, you can just flip the fabric to the back. Totally doesn't matter. I just wasn't sure if my fabric would show through to the front. Oh my goodness, I didn't really burn myself and I didn't get stitch witchery everywhere, and that's amazing. Yay! Okay, so there we go. We've got that going. So now this is dry and I've got my vintage trim on the back and it's holding up really nice. And I'm gonna keep this on the back and I'm gonna want to fold this over. So I'm just gonna lay it here and see when I wrap it around how many squares are left for me to get it even. So it looks like there's about 1 to 2 squares. So I'm just going to kind of make sure I like it. kind of have an idea where you're going to place it. And then I'm going to put stitchery tape on the back. So I'm going to place the stitchery tape, and it also, I put it right on top of that blue so it doesn't move. And I've got this rotary blade. This rotary blade I'm using right here is one that I'm just using for finishing, so I don't use it for fabric because it's got a dull blade. So I'm just going to put stitchery tape back here. So stitchery tape is double-sided, so I've got it. Whoop. Now I got to pull it off. So we've got the stitch witchery tape off, and so it's got sticky tape. I'm going to move the mat out of my way just so I can maneuver a little bit, and I'm going to just play around with placement before I really stick it down. And you can see I'm moving it a lot because I really want to place it, and it's hard to. I want it straight, but I also want it even. And this is what I do, guys, really. It does take me a while. I want it to be right. So take your time. Okay, so once I get it in place, I'm gonna just rub the edges and look at it. It looks pretty good. Move it a tiny bit. Push that to the back. And now it just stays in place. So I thought you can just leave it like this if you want. You could put your name and the year. You could just leave it just like this. Or we did a little square on the back. I think we did 4.5 inches square. Nope, 4 inches. So we just did a 4-inch square and covered it on the back. So I'm just gonna take some sticky board, cut a 4-inch square. I didn't want the back to be too big because I didn't want the back to poke through to the front, but I wanted it to be enough to cover the fabric and the rickrack. And I'm going to cut a 4-inch square of the batting. So that's about so I guess the back is about 1/2 inch smaller than the front because I started with a 4.5 inch square wooden piece. Okay. So on the front, I am just going to put some glue basted by Roxanne's on the front. Just a little bit. Glue that down. And then I used fabric that is the same. Put the fabric on the top of the batting, and I'm going to pull the sticky board off the back. I cut about 1 inch bigger, so it's about a 6-inch square. It doesn't have to be exact. Yay, it came off. And it just doesn't have to be as perfect since this goes on the back, but I am going to cut my little squares out of the corner. So I'm going to start with the top and bottom. Just pull those down. It just sticks right down. Front looks good, and then I'm just going to poke my corners in. I'm getting better and better at this. I'm still not great, but just kind of tuck that corner in. Perfect. So I've got sticky on the back still, so I'm gonna just place that right on there. Ta-da! It's all done. So, look how pretty my 2 ornaments are. And this is a very inexpensive finishing option because you're just using your ornament, a tiny bit of fabric, a tiny bit of rickrack, and wood. I mean, this is just simple wood. I mean, you could get this from your garage. So super cute. I can't wait to see you next week to join me for week 3. Thanks for watching.